Then what you want to do is you want to go to the ftc.gov. ftc.gov is the Fair Trade Commission website, right? And they're basically the government entity that protects consumers when it comes to fraud, identity theft, all of that. What you want to do is go ahead and create a report, right? And create a report, print it out. It doesn't get sent anywhere, but you just need to go ahead and print it out, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to package everything up, package everything. You're going to get your letter. You're going to get that FTC report, right? And then you're going to get your copy of your ID, a social security card, and a copy of your utility bill. Okay. And then I want you to put all that in the mail and send it out certified mail to TransUnion. All right. And I want you to do certified mail because TransUnion loves to play games and say that they didn't receive your mail. But if you send it certified mail, you're going to know that they receive it when it shows up, right? So you're going to keep track of that mail, make sure it shows up, call them up on the phone and say, hey, TransUnion, I sent in some mail not too long ago, and I need these unauthorized inquiries removed. They're going to say, okay, I'm going to look it up. They might say, hey, actually, I didn't receive it. That's that's funny because I got this certified mail saying it showed up last Tuesday. So
paper trail.
Exactly, paper trail, man, paper trail for real. So they said, oh, okay, that let me talk to my manager real quick. So they're gonna talk to whoever in the back. They're gonna come back, and they said, okay, well, name off all the inquiries that you need removed, right? Then you go off and name everything off of TransUnion, all the TransUnion inquiries. Boom, easy. Now, finally, Equifax, very similar to TransUnion, but instead of sending out certified mail, what you can do is actually fax Equifax. You fax Equifax. You could Google the number. I don't remember the number at the top of my head. So you fax them a copy of your ID, a copy of a social security card, a copy of your utility bill, a letter saying that these unauthorized inquiries are need to be removed. You name off all the Equifax inquiries and send out FTC report. You fax it to them. They should get it within about a week. You call them up on the phone and go through the same process. Look,
most definitely. And those of y'all listening, y'all have heard in previous episodes I said similar thing, and y'all got to remember. I know some of y'all be listening to the law. Identity theft, when it comes to the law, means no consent. So I know some people feel weird about FTC and all of that, but the law tells you identity theft means no consent. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. I wanted to.
That's a game changer too, because look, that comes directly into getting. When people talk about they get $500,000 in lines of bank business credit, I guarantee you that they're running that play right there. They're running those plays to get those inquiries removed, y'all.
Exactly. So as far as business credit, I know you're the business credit guy. Do you prefer the whole PG thing, or do you prefer people like build up the net 30s and 90s and all that? Because to be honest, with my journey, as far as getting business funding, majority has been just PG. But then I came to terms with myself. I was like, you know what? Let me actually build out my business credit profile. So that's what I'm doing right now, just to be transparent. So I'm curious to see what you think about that.
Right. So there's two ways of having business credit, y'all. So there's a business credit where you build it off your EIN, which is strictly based on the strength of your business. And then there's PGing your business credit, right? And that is, like I said, PGing it, personally guaranteeing it. As in, if you get these funds, you don't pay it back, your personal credit is going to be hit, right?
Yeah.
One thing, honestly, I love PGing, man. PGing just because, one, you get larger limit. When it comes to bank business credit, you're going to get larger limits. And also on EIN, if you get the bank business credit based on your EIN, you're going to have to make a significant amount of income to be able to get these different credit cards without personally guaranteeing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to make, for some banks, it's going to be $2 million in revenue that you have to show, right? That you have to show in tax returns in order to be able to get these lines of credit, right? So I always tell people, look, if you could bet on yourself, right? If you get bet on yourself, if your business is structured up properly, you have a right business plan, you know you have a plan for your money, look, go ahead and PG that funds. Go ahead and PG it. Because at the end of the day, even if you did use your EIN, you built, say you did the net 30s, net 60s, everything the sort. If you want to be able to get the large funding, right? Guess what? Yeah, you could have a strong business, but more times than not, they're still going to be looking at your personal credit. They might not going to be looking at it as heavily, but they're still going to be looking at it. So when people tell me, look, yo, I don't want to be able to, I don't want to worry about my personal credit. I just want to go straight to the business credit. And I said, okay, cool. But look, it's no matter what, it's going to have to go back to your personal credit. We have to look, people say, I tell people this, look, business credit is optional, right? But no matter what circumstance, getting your personal credit right is mandatory. It is a requirement. Look, there's too many resources out here. There's podcasts like this. There's free YouTube videos. There's credit repair companies out there who will literally fix your credit for you. You can learn how to fix your credit, but we can't avoid it. We can't avoid it, y'all.
Yeah.
So listen to podcasts like this, get your information down, fix your credit, y'all, because look, I guarantee you're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. It might take a year, might take a year and a half, but it's better to do that than start it with the net 30s, net 60s, net 90s, where you could, in a year from now, year and a half from now, you still may not be able to get the large limits that you want because your personal credit isn't right. So focus on your personal credit, y'all.
Most definitely. Do you teach people to do the net 30s, 90s, and all that, or you just preach about like the PG?
I teach it. I have a few resources because it is still important to be able to build your business credit.
Yeah.
But that's not my forefront, because I tell people, look, use that as an asset, as a supplementary to your personal credit to be able to get the large funds. But no matter what, it's still good to build your business credit, right?
Okay, most definitely. Yeah, because I had someone on the podcast talking about building business credit, and she was more on the side of the net 30s and 90s. So it's interesting to see the other perspective. So I guess I want to lean more towards that. Can we talk about, this is a CAP podcast, let's talk about the secrets on getting those high limit cars. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, let's talk about that, man.
Talk about it.
I know one thing I know you preach is really about the data points, right? It's really
Most
about
definitely.
the data points on your credit report. It's really, so we have to know it's not about your credit score. Look, we know that a lot of people think the higher the credit score, the better, right? That's really irrelevant, man. Because like I've said many times before, I know people who got 800 credit scores and still get denied American Express cards, right? Because it's not about the score, it's what's on our credit report. Because look, you can have a credit report where you could have let's see, you can have you have an authorized user trade line that's 20 years old from your grandmother. You got a let's see, you have a secured card that you've had for the last year, right? And you got student loans, right? At that, right, just right there, you might have a 760, 780, right?
Yeah.
But if you go, I guarantee you, if you go to the bank, say, look, I want to be able to give me this $30,000, $25,000 credit card, 0% interest, they're gonna look at you crazy, right? Why? Just think about it, like, why would they give you all this money when you can't even handle it yourself? There's no proof that you've been able to handle it yourself. You got a $300 secure credit that's attached to your name, and you got another credit card that's not even attached to your name, right? You're never going to be able to get credit based on credit that's not yours. Right? The banks are not going to do that. The lenders are not going to do that. You need to have some type of track record saying that, proving that you'll be able to handle this funding if they ever give it to you. Right? So that's why I tell people, look, build out your primary accounts. Right? You want to be able to have at least 10 primary accounts. Primary accounts, those accounts of student loans, I want you to have at least 3 major bank credit cards. I'm not talking about Sears. I'm not talking about Target, Walmart. I'm talking about the Bank of America, the Chase, your credit union. Those are the ones that they like to see. Those are the ones that you need to have in your credit report. I want you to have at least 3, and I want you to have at least 2,500 credit limit. Maybe higher the better. I'm really 5,000, right?
What if they get like $1,000 limit? What should they do?
Man, look, that goes into MS spending, boy. Look, what you talking about? We got one old podcast about that.
They got multiple episodes on MS.
Look, y'all got multiple episodes.
I think they know what to do, low-key. But yeah.
So all in short, if you got $1,000 credit card, what you can do is just max it out, pay it off, stretch those limits, right? You do that over a period of 6 months or so. The banks are going to be like, okay, look, this person is being able to use what he's been given. I could trust him with a little bit more. Him a little bit more. So you do that you ask for a credit line increase every 4 to 6 months from the banks. They're going to give you a credit line increase, especially if you use it heavily, right?
Yeah.
So build all those primary accounts, get those credit cards, those accounts of student loans, those rental accounts that I mentioned earlier, those count too. Make sure you have at least 10 of those. 100% on-time payment. No late payments, y'all. No derogatories. Average credit age. You want to have an average credit age of preferably to be able to get max. You want to be around 4 to 5, right? 5 and up, you're going to be able to get max, right? And then finally, your inquiries. We talked about how to remove inquiries.
We talk about that. Yeah.
Go run the play. We told you to play. Go run the play for each of those bureaus and get those inquiries off. And
what if their age is young? What if they got like only 1 year average age? What should they do?
Man, look, there are a lot of people are going to tell you, okay, go get trade lines. They're going to tell you go get trade lines. However, that is not a replacement. That is not a replacement from getting your primary credit cards and letting them age out, y'all. That's why we tell people as early as possible, get your own primary unsecured credit card. Even if you got to start with secured, start with a Discover card. Discover is giving out a secured card right now where there's no annual fee. And you get 1% cash back. I don't know any other secured card where they actually do that, right? Yeah. No annual fee. You get 1% cash back, meaning whatever you spend on a card, they're going to give you 1% of that. If you spend if you spend $1,000, they're going to give you $10 for every $1,000 that you spend. Right? Did I do that math right? I think I did that right. Right. So get that secure card. Use manufacturer spend just the way that we talk about in the podcast, right? And get that, and what they're going to do, they're going to graduate that secure card to an unsecured card. They're going to do it. They're going to do it within 6 months, as long as you're using it consistently and paying it off, right? So definitely do that, y'all. Definitely do that. What were we talking about next?
We're basically talking about. I just want to know the secrets, the hacks to get those high limits. You feel me? So we're talking about the foundation as far as the data points. So
data points. Get those data points. Next, you want to be able to get your business set up right. This is by far extremely important.
Let's go on that. Yeah, most definitely.
Because this is the difference between getting 1,000 and getting 25,000. Right. First thing you want to do is you want to start an LLC, right? Start an LLC, and before you do anything, you want to make sure that the business that you're naming it is very general, right? You want to make sure it's general as hell. For me, my business is called Take Flight Solutions, right? We have to understand that these banks are very conservative. They're very conservative, meaning any type of red flag, any type of risk, any type of opportunity, or any time where they think that the business may make a lot of money and then lose a lot of money, they don't want any type of association with it. So we need to start building our LLCs as very general. I tell people, when I go to the bank, I tell them that I do business consulting. I do business consulting, even though I do credit repair, I do credit consulting, I do funding, everything of the sort. The banks hate that. They hate that because they see it as high risk, right? So if you go to the bank, sometimes they may deny you altogether. But if they do decide to approve you for some credit, you might only get 1,000, 2,000, but you can't do anything with that, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people, build out your LLC, come up with a very general name, and then